The National Electrical Code, or NEC, prohibits sprinkler heads in switchgear rooms. NEC Section 110.11 addresses the prohibition against foreign matter entering electrical equipment. Subsection B specifically covers unenclosed switchboards and panel boards. Paragraph 1, Application, states the section applies to unenclosed switchboards and panel boards that are in other than a dedicated switchgear room and are located where moisture or other foreign matter can enter the enclosure. Paragraph 2, Prohibition, emphasizes that water, steam, vapors, or other foreign matter shall not be allowed to enter or accumulate within the enclosure. However, there are two exceptions to this rule. Exception number 1 to paragraph 2 allows for situations where the switchboard or panel board is designed to be used and listed for use in a wet location. Exception number 2 to paragraph 2 allows for the protection of the switchboard or panel board by a suitable enclosure. NEC Article 408, which covers switchboards and panel boards, also provides relevant information. Subsection C, Installation, paragraph 1, Location, states that switchboards and panel boards shall be located in accessible places and shall not be located in bathrooms, over sinks, or immediately adjacent to water pipes unless they are located in a dedicated switchgear room that is dry, ventilated, and accessible. Exception number 1 states that switchboards and panel boards may be mounted in a dedicated switchgear room that is dry, ventilated, and accessible. Exception number 2 states that switchboards and panel boards located on balconies or platforms that are accessible to qualified personnel only may be exempt from the requirements of 408.16. A and B if such balconies or platforms are provided with permanent metal railings, toe boards, and covers or screens for unprotected openings. In summary, the NEC aims to protect electrical equipment from foreign matter like water, which includes water from sprinkler systems. The general rule is that sprinkler heads are not permitted in switchgear rooms. Firstly, NEC Section 110.11 prohibits water, steam, vapors, or other foreign matter from entering or accumulating within the enclosure of unenclosed switchboards and panel boards that are not in dedicated switchgear rooms. Secondly, Article 408 requires switchboards and panel boards to be located in accessible places and not near water pipes unless they are in a dedicated switchgear room that is dry, ventilated, and accessible. There are a few exceptions. One exception allows for the use of switchboards or panel boards designed and listed for use in wet locations. Another exception allows for the protection of switchboards or panel boards by a suitable enclosure. Finally, switchboards and panel boards in dedicated switchgear rooms that are dry, ventilated, and accessible are also exceptions. The requirement for a dry, ventilated, and accessible dedicated switchgear room is key to understanding the exceptions. The NEC primary goal is to ensure electrical safety, and keeping electrical equipment dry is a fundamental aspect of that safety. The code recognizes that certain measures, such as dedicated rooms or suitable enclosures, can mitigate the risks associated with moisture, allowing for some flexibility in the installation of electrical equipment. It is important to always consult the latest edition of the NEC and any applicable local codes for specific requirements and interpretations. Electrical installations should only be performed by qualified and licensed electricians who are familiar with NEC and local regulations. Proper planning and adherence to the NEC are essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of electrical systems. In addition to the NEC, other standards and regulations may also apply to switchgear rooms and sprinkler systems. For example, fire codes may dictate the type of sprinkler system required in certain buildings, and these requirements may need to be reconciled with the NEC restrictions on sprinkler heads in switchgear rooms. It is crucial to consider all applicable codes and standards when designing and installing electrical and fire protection systems. Coordination between electrical engineers, fire protection engineers, and other relevant professionals is essential for ensuring compliance with all requirements. Moreover, the specific type of switchgear and its sensitivity to moisture should be considered when determining the appropriate fire protection measures. Some switchgear may be more susceptible to damage from water than others, and this factor should be taken into account when selecting a fire suppression system. Alternative fire suppression systems, such as clean agent systems, may be more suitable for switchgear rooms than traditional sprinkler systems. Clean agent systems use non-conductive gases to extinguish fires without causing damage to electrical equipment. These systems can be more expensive than sprinkler systems, but they may be a worthwhile investment in protecting sensitive electrical infrastructure. Ultimately, the decision of whether to install a sprinkler system in the switchgear room should be based on a thorough risk assessment that considers all applicable codes and standards, the type of switchgear, and the potential consequences of a fire. Consulting with qualified professionals is essential for making an informed decision and ensuring the safety and reliability of the electrical system. Furthermore, regular inspection and maintenance of both the electrical equipment and the fire protection system are crucial for ensuring their continued effectiveness. Electrical equipment should be inspected for signs of moisture or corrosion, and any issues should be addressed promptly. Fire protection systems should be inspected and tested regularly to ensure that they are functioning properly. Proper maintenance can help prevent fires and minimize the damage if a fire does occur. In addition to the technical aspects of NEC compliance and fire protection, it is also important to consider the human element. Electrical workers and other personnel who work in or around switchgear rooms should be properly trained on the hazards of electricity and the proper procedures for working safely. They should also be familiar with the fire protection systems in place and how to respond in the event of a fire. Regular safety training can help prevent accidents and ensure that personnel are prepared to handle emergencies. In conclusion, the NEC restrictions on sprinkler heads and switchgear rooms are intended to protect electrical equipment from moisture and ensure electrical safety. While there are exceptions for dedicated switchgear rooms and suitable enclosures, it is important to carefully consider all applicable codes and standards, the type of switchgear, and the potential consequences of a fire when determining the appropriate fire protection measures. Consulting with qualified professionals and providing regular safety training for personnel are essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of electrical systems. The best approach is to minimize water use around any electrical panels or electrical equipment. Install equipment in a dedicated room where water is not present. Use other methods of fire suppression such as FM200 or similar to avoid the use of water. Where water is used, seal the electrical equipment in such a way that water cannot get into the equipment. Install water detection equipment that will turn off the water system in the event of a leak. This water detection equipment should also turn off the electrical power to the equipment in the room. This will minimize the damage from water. Water and electricity are a deadly combination. Proper design and engineering can minimize this risk. The NEC provides the guidelines for this, but local codes may also apply. It is always best to consult with a qualified electrical engineer to ensure that the design meets all applicable codes. If the equipment is installed in a room where water is present, such as a bathroom or kitchen, then the equipment must be rated for wet locations. This means that the equipment is designed to withstand moisture and water. The equipment must also be properly grounded to prevent electrical shock. Grounding is a safety measure that provides a path for electricity to flow to the ground in the event of a fault. This will help to prevent electrical shock. It is important to note that even if the equipment is rated for wet locations, it should still be protected from direct contact with water. Avoid installing electrical equipment directly under a sink or shower. Doing so may result in an electric shock or other electrical issues that can be costly to resolve. The NEC requirements are stringent. Always refer to the latest version of the NEC, as codes change over time. It is important to stay up to date on the latest requirements to ensure that all electrical work is performed safely and correctly. Always hire a licensed electrician to perform any electrical work. A licensed electrician has the knowledge and experience to perform electrical work safely and correctly. They will also be familiar with the NEC and local codes. Working with electricity is dangerous. Do not attempt to perform electrical work unless you are qualified to do so. Even seemingly simple electrical tasks can be dangerous if not performed correctly. Hiring a professional electrician is always the best option to ensure safety and compliance with all applicable codes.